Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's video. I am mostly doing this video today to introduce you to my plan for this coming month. The next 3 videos after this one are going to be conversations with good friends of mine, colleagues, former clients, and other wellness or life experts. They're going to just share really down-to-earth suggestions in a conversation with me of how we can move from a place of surviving to a place of thriving. Especially right now, we're all going through this very strange time of the quarantine, the stay at home, the whole thing with the coronavirus spreading all over the world, and this global pandemic has really, I think it's impacted everyone's life on some level or another. And there's just a lot to navigate. Later this month, we're gonna dive into how to stay mentally and emotionally well. We're gonna talk about how to keep exercising and stay active through this time, even though our gyms are closed and we're home with all of our kids. And then we're also gonna talk about how to keep a positive attitude and move through this in a positive way, and how you can do that. And I want to be really real with you. However you see me show up in these videos and on social media and whatnot, for me, emotionally, this changes day to day, if not moment to moment. There's been a lot of upheaval for my life personally, and I'm sure there has been for you too. So I want you to know that it's okay if you're really feeling like the rug has been pulled out from under you and you're still struggling and grasping for something to hang on to. So these are really just conversations that I'm hoping will resonate with you, that you'll find something that will uplift you, that will validate you, and that will maybe give you some sort of inspiration on how you can move forward and really make the best of a truly strange and difficult situation. It's a challenge right now, so let's just be really honest about that. But for today's video is really all about introducing this subject of surviving versus thriving. And this might seem a little different than what I usually talk about. You probably know me as a plant-based nutrition health coach, which I am, but I really, really value the health and wellness coaching that I do, and that big picture of wellness that I keep in my coaching, and I'm excited to share more of that with you this month. So tune in and we're gonna get through this together. So today, I really want to share with you what I mean by survival versus thriving, what that looks like, and we're gonna get into how you can notice when you are kind of slipping into survival mode, and I'm gonna give you a few tips on how you can choose to step into a space of thriving and some really actionable steps you can take when you notice that. So if this is your first time tuning in or seeing these videos, I'm so glad you found me, and I hope that you'll hang around. I do these videos on a weekly basis, and I do them inside of my YouTube channel called Healthy Living with Danielle Dinkelman. You can also see these videos in my private Facebook group, which is totally free. Feel free to come and find us. It's called Healthy Living with Danielle Dinkelman over there as well. So these are really just a way for me to connect with you, to share with you my perspective on health and wellness, and to give you some really practical tips on not only plant-based nutrition, but also self-care strategies and ways that we can address habit change to really create a healthy lifestyle to support the changes that you're trying to make for your body and for your family, for your health. So let's get into this. Let's talk about surviving versus thriving. Now, to me, survival looks like rolling over and taking it and just saying, I give up. But thriving to me does not necessarily mean that every day looks perfect. It does not mean that, that everything is easy and smooth sailing, but I do think that thriving comes from a place of intention, and it comes from a place of self-awareness. So to me, I feel like I am thriving if I can wake up in the morning and take some time for myself and tune in to where I'm at emotionally. My poor husband, he's pointed out that my emotions have really been a moving target. Some days I feel numb Some days I feel depressed. Some days I feel angry. Some days I feel really overwhelmed and stressed out. And other days I have this intangible anxiety under the surface. All of these things are totally normal, especially under the circumstances that we are in right now. However, I can still feel like I'm thriving in those moments. Even when I'm having those emotional experiences, I can choose what I'm going to do with my day. And I can choose how I'm going to show up with my kids. And I can be flexible and I can adjust. And if it needs to be a Netflix and binge day, then okay, But I'm always striving to be in a place that I can show up just the best I can. And the best I can is going to look different yesterday than it does today. So to me, thriving comes from intentionally choosing how you're going to show up each day, not expecting perfection, and just creating that space and flexibility for yourself. So I hope that makes sense, and let me know if you agree or disagree. I would love to get a conversation going in the comments of this video. What does thriving look like for you? What does it mean to you? And how is that different than survival mode? So for me, when I notice that I'm going into survival mode, to me it's really like dropping down to those lowest levels of energy, which in my frame of mind is complete just giving up and victimizing ourselves and just like everything's happening to me. I have no control over anything and we're just choosing to be the victim. Or we are maybe in that level of we're angry. We're feeling like we're fighting for everything that we're doing each day, and we're really fixated on how much of a struggle everything is right now. Okay, so to me, if I'm in those energies, I'm in survival mode, okay? So when you are noticing either like full-blown like victim mode or kind of fighting for your life, that is a pretty low energy, and there are ways to bring ourselves out of that. So when you notice yourself in that headspace, I have 4 things I want to share with you. Number 1, we can practice gratitude in those moments. Sometimes we can rationalize ourselves out of victim mode or out of struggle by saying, well, is it really true that I really can't control anything in my life right now? Oh, of course it's not. And so we can look at those things and rationalize ourselves out of there, and we can say, you know what, there are things to be grateful for in this moment too. It's not all awful. It might be hard, it might be challenging and difficult, but it's not all bad. So for me, the way I pull myself out of that is really focusing on the opportunities, the silver lining, practicing gratitude, looking for the things to find joy in each day. So for me, this is just something I've been doing recently. I've been keeping what I call a joy journal. And so there's just a page or 2 in my bullet journal that I use a lot, that every day at the end, before I go to bed, I take a minute and see if I can think of 3 things that really sparked joy for me. And it's usually small things, but it's helpful for me to recognize that even in this time of uncertainty and crisis and survival mode, sometimes that we can find things to find joy in. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, talking can really keep us in that survival mode. Sorry, here's my kids. Guys, I'm recording a video. Go away. This is real life, guys. This is my life now. All of my children are home. So when I really believe that we can choose our words and choose our languaging about stuff, right? We can choose when people ask us how we're doing, we can choose to stay in that survival mode with our language and say, oh, it's so awful, it's so hard, and yeah, we're really struggling, and yeah, we're just barely making it. Or we can say, you know what, things are getting a little better every day, or yeah, it's been hard, but like I'm figuring it out. We're finding our groove. That type of language can really help. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys is to just set for yourself each day, choose one non-negotiable for yourself. Preferably something that is kind of in the self-care realm or something in the exercising or getting out in nature space. So for me, my non-negotiable every day has been that I do some sort of exercise for 20 to 30 minutes. So for me, that's going down and doing a jump rope routine, or it's hopping on my exercise bike. And even when I don't feel like doing it, I'm still doing it just about every single day. And that's my one non-negotiable. And when I know I can get that in, it really has a ripple effect. So I invite you to choose one non-negotiable that you can show up for yourself and follow through on. And that could, like I said, could be anything. Again, use the comments. I'd love to hear what you're going to choose. But when we can just boil it down to one thing that we're going to choose and control, that just becomes our focus. And we don't have to try to make everything else perfect right now. So that's been working really well for me personally. Fourth and final tip for you guys today on how to kind of pull yourself out of survival mode and step into a thriving space is really to embrace the fact that this is a process and we are going to ride the waves together. And like I said, every day is going to be a little different, and we're just going to do the best we can each and every day. So that's my tips for you guys today. And I hope that you'll stay tuned with me week after week this month to join in some conversations about how we can thrive. And here are my children. Come say hi.
I want to tell you something.
Okay, cool. And we're going to wrap it up right there. There's one of them. You guys, this is real. Life goes on. We're going to make it work. And I hope that you'll stay in touch with me and let me know how you're doing. And we're going to say goodbye. Say bye.
Bye.